Yeah, so when I was, I don't know, like 14, I was starting high school. I started to really get into the Beatles, and so when I first got into the Beatles, I didn't know anybody who had Beatle records. If I did, I could like just borrow them and copy them onto cassette, but I didn't know anybody, so I had to buy them. So I bought them at the 2 years old, and I never heard them on. I had heard Beatles songs before, like on the radio and this show called Breakfast with the Beatles and stuff. So I had heard, but the complete albums I never. Because we didn't have internet back then, so you couldn't just go and you listened to it on the computer or something. You actually had to buy it. I know someone who owns it, and I didn't know anybody who owned. Then I started getting into the McCartney solo stuff, and those two I didn't know anybody who owned any of those McCartney albums, and so I would buy them. I let my friend borrow it, and then I would like copy them onto cassette myself, so I can go to school. On the way to school, I was, I'd listen to them, and so when I listened to them on cassette, I could hear the record go and then start. And then of course, one of the albums was Ram, which is a McCartney album that I really like. I mean, I like all of them. So, but I remember buying Ram. I had the single for Uncle Admiral Halsey first, so that's why I didn't know if I would like Ram because no one talked about Ram. Now everybody knows about Ram, but I actually had a single that had Uncle Admiral Halsey on it, and I actually like that song a lot. So I'm like, oh, that's on Ram. Let me buy Ram, and that's why I bought Ram, because I bought the single. This used place had singles, and she had the Uncle Admiral Halsey on Apple single. That's worth a lot of money now, but of course, But then all these records that I accumulated, then I started playing guitar, and then I wanted to buy a bass guitar, so I just went and try to sell these records eventually, which I shouldn't have done, but I figured I was going to get them on CD anyway, and I was just like, really wanted to get a bass guitar, and my dad was going to buy me any guitar. He's never ever bought me a guitar. All my friends had their parents buy them guitars for Christmas, but all my guitars I always bought with my own money, or, so, it's the difference between me. And when someone's really into playing guitar, when they earn the money themselves. If someone's just given a guitar, they're not gonna play that thing. If someone really wants to be a guitarist, is when every bit of money that they earn goes towards that guitar, and they stick by it at least for months and months. And that's what happened. I had to put the bass on layaway and sell those records and still make more money. So every few days I had to go and add money to the layaway. And eventually I got the bass guitar, my first bass guitar. That's how I bought it. I had to add all this money to it, and everything that I earned, doing jobs. So it all went to this bass guitar, and I don't know anybody else who's done that, because all my friends, all their guitars, nice Fender Strats, their parents bought them, so But me, my first guitar I ever bought with my own money, so. But this is one of the records that I did keep, and I forgot that I had this, but it's Ram. By Paul McCartney. But like I said, I copied this onto cassette, and I would walk to school, and listen to this while walking to school, and it'd be like, recorded from a record. So on the cassette, it'd be like, and then it's okay, that's the beginning of the song, the first song called Too Many People. Too many people going underground. Too many people never sleeping. Listen to the it sounded really good. It's not a bad copy. But here's the record. It's on Apple. See Apple. See it? But Apple, the Beatles record company. There you go. Yeah, but of course Apple. Beatles started Apple in 1968. So after, and of course everybody says L-I-L-Y, it says Linda, I love you. I don't know if you can see it. Wait, where is it? I didn't see it somewhere. Where is it? It's like right here. So, can this pick it up? Yeah, see? L-I-L-Y, Lily, Linda, I love you. That's what I call it. Hall. Of course, a picture of Paul and Linda and the kids there on the farm, on the sheep farm. Paul still owns that farm, by the way. But it was a farm that Paul bought in 1966. And when he met Linda, she loved nature, and so she was like, "Wow, you got a farm in Scotland? She's like, let's go up there and go see it. And then when they went up there, it was like disarray and not really working. So it was kind of Linda that Paul got that farm to working because she wanted to be up there a lot. And she loved Scotland, and so that's all. Yeah, so that's where that's when Paul then hid out after the Beatles broke up and stuff. Yeah. So Ram. But yeah, that's how I got to liking Ram, because I had the single for Admiral Halsey, Uncle Albert, on Apple, and it's one of the ones I sold. I don't know why I took all these records, and the guy's like, I want to buy all those records, and I'll give you like $100 for it. I'm like, no, this is worth more than that. This is worth at least $1,000. All these records. It's like, each of them, some of those I bought like almost brand new. Some of those, they were like $10, and there's a lot of records that I had. Like every Beatle album, almost every McCartney album up to that point. Some singles, Beatles, Hey Jude. Oh, jeez, I should have took that off. Wish I still had those, but yeah. But I really wanted that bass guitar, so I got that bass guitar. It was a K bass, I think it was like a black K bass. They looked like and then the head looked like kind of like a hatchet, kind of like a pointy thing. And I played it in the talent show. It's a very nice bass, like very light. But yeah, that's the first bass there, right? And so listening to, but then I also had all this other McCartney albums too. On record, I had Wildlife by that was on Apple too. Yeah, because as I said, the Beatles started Apple in 1968, and then the White Album was an Apple, Let It Be was an Apple, and Abbey Road was an Apple, and all the singles were on Apple too. Get Back, and after that, Get Back, Let It Be, those something, and then when they broke up, Apple was still a company. So when they broke up to like 1974 or something, I think Apple dissolved in 74, 75. All the Beatles solo stuff was Apple. So McCartney, his first solo album, Paul's Ram, Wildlife, and Red Rose Speedway, they were all on Apple. His first four solo album. And Paul and John, same thing with Plastic on the Band, that was an Apple. His first Imagine was an Apple. It's like up to 74, or everything that they released was on Apple. I think Band on the Run was Paul's first, not Apple. I don't think that was an Apple. Or maybe it was an Apple. That might have been the last one on Apple. Yeah, that was an Apple. It was in 73, right? Yeah, so I think Band on the Run was an Apple. I think Venus and Mars was Paul's first non-Apple. I think that was on Capitol or something. Yeah, Venus and Mars was Paul's. So 74, I think that's when Apple dissolved, and so I think it was released on Apple after that. So everybody else who was on Apple, like Badfinger, their first few albums were also on Apple. And James Taylor's first album was on Apple, and Billy Preston was on Apple for a while, and so they had the Apple logo and stuff. I like the on Paul did some specialty Apple on the Wildlife and on Little Speedway. He had on the Apple, on the record he had some kind of on the Wildlife he had a picture of himself on the Apple thing. I think it was pretty cool. I wish I could show it to you, but I don't have the record in. And I think on Red Rose Speedway he had a rose in his mouth on the thing, I do believe, on the Apple in the middle of the record. That's what we call it. Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So, but no, because I got reminded everybody loves Ram, so that's why I was like, oh, Ram, everybody loves Ram, everybody got Ram. What the thing? And then John Lennon did a thing where he was holding a pig. Cause at that time John and Paul were kind of at each other in 1970, 71. So John Lennon recorded. I think it was on Imagine something. There's a picture of John Lennon doing the same thing with the Ram, but he's holding a pig. It's interesting. Yeah. But because apparently a couple of the songs on the Ram was a message to John. A song called Too Many People. Apparently that's about John Lennon being preachy. Some of that. I think that was the only one. And then Dear Boy, that's about Linda's ex-husband, and a message to Paul, because you know, it's about how could he let Linda go like that? I don't know how much you miss Dear Boy. So Dear Boy is Linda's ex-husband. I messaged Paul's message to him, and then let's see what else. Eat at home. I think eat at home was. I think that was another message to John, because John was doing this thing where he was starving himself. I think they were doing like a starving kind of protest. And eat at home was about that. I do believe. I think they were doing like they were starving, so they had like a Gandhi thing. And I think Paul would eat at home about that. I do believe. Let me see. Let's see, eat at home. Ramon. See the pictures of Paul. Uncle Albert, I'm not sure. They smile away. It's the heart of the country. Monk word middle like eat at home. Long-headed lady. That's what I know. Probably. Actually, that my cars with you. But Denny Sywell, Dave Spinoza, and Hugh McCracken. Denny Sywell was the drummer. Dave Spinoza and Hugh McCracken were the guitarists. So basically, Paul played most of the instruments on the album. So engineered by Tim, Ted, Phil, Dixon, Armin, and Jim. Mixing engineer Eric the Norwegian. Cover photography Linda. Artwork Paul. That's Paul doing all the art. That's Paul drawing. It's all Paul's drawing. Paul's going to draw all this stuff. Ram. Produced by Paul and Linda McCartney. But all the pictures were taken by Linda. Linda took that picture and the camera. But and it's Paul and Linda with Denny Sywell on drums, and then Dave Spinoza and Hugh McCracken on lead guitars at different times. So basically, it's like Paul playing most of the instruments. Paul's playing on the album. Paul's playing all the bass. He's playing all the keyboards. Singing is Paul and Linda. And Paul's playing a lot of the guitar, though. And then it was recorded in New York, the album, at Phil and Ramone's studio. Phil and Ramone, I guess, Columbia. Phil and Ramone actually went on a few years to work with Billy Joel, but I guess that studio was the same studio where they were. It was A&R studio or something like that, Columbia. Maybe it became Columbia Studios, something like that. So it's basically Paul with Denny Sywell on drums, and then it was Hugh McCracken first played like lead guitar, but then he kind of left the session, and then you got Dave Spinoza to do the rest of the lead guitar. So it's Paul playing rhythm guitars, keyboards, bass, singing, and then did everything except for the lead guitar and the drums. So I'm sure Paul's playing some of the lead guitar, and Paul's playing ukulele and Ramon, and he's doing other instruments. So pretty cool. Paul likes to do a lot of instruments himself. That's why he's one of my favorite musicians, and probably my favorite Beatle, because he knows how to play all his instruments. That's one of the reasons why I love Paul. Because I'm not drunk to play a few instruments too, but Paul actually does it. He actually, even in concert, you'll never see Paul without playing an instrument. He's always playing some instrument. And it's usually the lead one. And I like that. I like that he tries to grow as a musician instead of just being that singer guy, and then they have a band behind him. Paul adds to the music all the time. He's always the guy doing that too. Not only is he a great singer and a songwriter, he's a great musical player of instruments, and then I love that. That's why I've learned so many instruments, because of that. Because of that benchmark. That it's like, hey man, you want to be a good musician, you should learn all these instruments as well. So that's another reason why I love Paul.